to me and they're like, I really want to exclusively breastfeed. That's like my goal. I'm like, okay, so this is where we are right now. I'm going to give you a plan, but this plan is like a 1 week plan. And because then we can say like, you tried all the things. And if we haven't got to where you want to be in like 1 week, then we have to start moving from like trying all the things to like what is sustainable, because you have to do this for months and months, and your mental health matters a lot. And also you want to be able to like enjoy your newborn being.
Hi, it's Tiffany Lorraine Galloway, certified high performance coach with another episode of the Resilient Mother podcast. This month, we're talking about mastering your own unique resilience. And I've got another expert for you here today. I've got Dr. Sarah Husain, who is the founder of Your Downtown Doula. She's got some knowledge for us when it comes to being more natural in your medical needs, and also lactation, which is something all mothers have a decision to make about or experience or whatnot. So we'll get into that. Dr. Sarah Husain, or Sarah, may I call you? Thank you for being
here. Yeah, Dr. Sarah's fine.
Dr. Sarah, thank you for being here. Please tell us a little bit more about you.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. So my name's Dr. Sarah. I'm a naturopathic doctor and a board certified lactation consultant. I work out of Toronto, Canada, and I'm the founder of Your Downtown Doula, which is a collective of naturopaths that work like in the perinatal space. So like prenatal classes, birth doulas, lactation consultants, sleep consultants, everything like pregnancy, birth, baby.
Love that. Yeah. Now, I've never really heard of that many specialties being in one place. Is that something kind of new that's being developed? Because that sounds awesome.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like being developed. It's just, it kind of just like happened. So I was in naturopathic school, and I had a friend of mine tell me, like, who's now like one of the founders of our company, like, you would probably love being a doula. And I was like, I don't know what a doula is. And she's like, no, but there's like a course. This is like 10 years ago. There's like a course for naturopathic doctors on how to be a doula. And it's like a weekend course because you already have the medical background, and it's right beside your house, and it's like a discount for students. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. And I was like, oh my God, I love this so much. And then like one of my very first clients really struggled with breastfeeding, and I just like, we did not get the training in naturopathic college to we got a little bit, but not enough to really help. And like, that's like one of the foundational things of health, right? Is if you can get more breast milk, you're getting more foundations of health. And so that was when, so it was like, I finished the naturopathic college and then right away started doing the lactation consulting training, and just have like really niched into like working with babies.
Well, that sounds wonderful. I love newborns.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, it's the best. I get all the oxytocin all the time.
I just found a baby hat that I've had for years, and it just, I kept it because it had the baby smell, and it doesn't quite have the baby smell anymore. I was like trying to because it smells
last little bits of it.
So I have some interesting experiences with nursing myself, and I've nursed all of my kids except for my first one for about 2 years, and it's been extremely beneficial. But I will say it was not an easy road every time. The first time, it's definitely a new sensation that you got to get used to when it happens. But some tricks that I learned along the way were I got mastitis a couple times, and I used cabbage leaf to relieve that. I was surprised something so natural helps so well. Another trick somebody told me was to drink pineapple juice if I wanted more of my milk to come in. I found that actually to be true. I don't know if it's just because it makes it more juicy for the baby and yummy, and so they just, ask for more. But there was that.
It might just be that you're better hydrated also. Like sometimes these things, it's like not but being better hydrated does help. Do you know what I mean? So it's like not as magical as you think it is, but it will help, right? If you have more hydration and you have those electrolytes in the juice, right? Like,
yeah, it's a formula for success. So, and
it's tasty, so you're gonna drink it.
Yeah, but then I had one who got teeth towards the end of 2 years, and And then we had to be done. That was not fun because I mean, it was bad. So I wouldn't let it go that far. But what I love about nursing is I loved like their face and mine right there. And there's some psychological benefits from all of that for you, and oxytocin release and different things. It's a very beautiful thing that creates the bond with the parent. But somebody told me that like that skin to skin contact that you can't replace with a bottle, which is why nursing is the preference if you can make it happen. But moms, don't feel bad if you can't. But if you can,
no, please don't feel bad. Yeah,
the mom's body will actually pull more of the nutrients that the baby needs and put it in the milk. Like it's like customized milk for the baby. That's why it's so special and why it can't replace formula. And so if you can breastfeed, that's why it's more beneficial. It doesn't mean that your child won't do well on formula or whatnot, but that's why people really strive to help you if you can get that going. And one other that I made, and I'm curious to get your insights, just to kind of cover what I know about it.
Yeah.
One of my pregnancies, they decided, no, it was Sarah. Sarah kind of was a surprise. I was nursing when I got pregnant with her. I thought I was sick because I was nursing. So I was a little surprised. Like, oh, we're doing this. Okay. And then she, like we didn't get an accurate due date. I went with the local doula. She was trying to save us expenses, but then like, I still think she was overdue, maybe. And I was getting a little desperate because it was July and I was
you're hot and swollen.
I'm hot. I was so done. I was like hanging out in our unfinished basement where there was concrete and it felt cool down there a lot. And then I was trying things like going out on swings at playgrounds. I was trying all these things. We tried
I always tell people.
And it made it worse. Like she tried to have me like, what was it? Some different things, change elevations, go up in the mountains. Nothing was working.
Yeah.
And then I
always tell people you have to hate being pregnant so much that giving birth is the better option. That's how you know you're ready.
That's where you get to that point. I'm like, I'm done. I'm done.
I'll do anything to not be pregnant.
Yeah. Because generally, I really love being pregnant. I love feeling the heartbeat at I don't know. I enjoyed pregnancy for the most part, even though there were some complications and different things. But like at this point, I put all this sage on my belly because supposedly that would help to get things going. I've been in and oils and different things. So I think it did help. However, sage will dry up your milk. So I gave birth to her and then my milk would not come in until that sage got out of my system, which caused the midwife to think something was wrong because we didn't have a major bowel movement within the usual period of time, which led to an unnecessary MRI because she had a fear that there was something wrong or backed up because we had no baby grow up. But I got 2 doctors' opinions and it actually turned out the doctor that I went and got a second opinion on, it would just go away on its own. So then we had this unnecessary check just because milk came in late is really all that it was. And for something that a doctor was unfamiliar with, that they hadn't seen an ovarian cyst on a child in the area at birth, but it went away. No more came. It was nothing, but it was like, I haven't seen that in 25 years. We better check that out. And you had a home natural birth and you weren't here. And so like, it just felt so unnecessary. But at the same time, it's like, well, one, we probably should have had a more accurate due date. That might have been helpful because I did have some complications afterward. And 2, it's just like, go get a second opinion if you want one.
Yeah.
You can go get one. And you don't have to
absolutely go get one.
They tell you to do something with your newborn at 3 days old that you don't want to do because you don't feel like it's necessary. I was like bawling, so emotional. My ex was emotional. Like it was not worth it at all. So
I mean, but the other thing is that like you don't, first of all, at 3 days postpartum, you have no mental clarity whatsoever. And second of all, like it's like the stakes are so high, right? Like we're talking about a newborn. And so like, if maybe if you were in a different mental state or like, if you knew different things than you know now, like you might have asked for a second opinion, you might have whatever, but like you only know what you know in the moment, and you also only have the capacity that you have in the moment. And so like it's also okay, it's totally fine.
It's the mommy guilt we were starting with.
It's the mom guilt. It's the mom guilt. Yeah. But people see me, like I do home visits and you've got to, by the time you've had the wherewithal to like call a lactation consultant and have them come to your house, like maybe the baby's only like 5 days old, but how much has happened in that 5 days? And lots of times
A
people
lot.
are like, I feel so bad. Like we had to use formula in the hospital and like, I really didn't want to do that. And it's like, it's okay. It'll be fine. It'll all be fine.
Mm-hmm.
This will pass. We'll figure it out. You haven't ruined your baby for their whole life because you did one bottle of formula in the
Right.
hospital. Like it's gonna.
Well, especially first time parents
Fine.
too. I feel like it's a lot. When you get to the second, third, fourth, you're like, I think I kind of understand a little bit better. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm so glad somebody told me they're all going to be completely different. And that's normal.
Oh, yeah.
That was so
Yeah.
helpful. Because I would definitely think I was doing something wrong because they all did different things at different times,
Really different.
in different ways. And they're fine. They're okay. They are okay. They're doing well.
They're all fine. Yeah. Yeah. They all grow up. It's okay. It is like because I used to tell people like it's different. It's all different. Like every baby is different. And then I had my second and I was like, oh wow, no, this is the real thing.
Yeah, it's a real deal. Yeah. Yeah. When you're in it, you really understand. So.
Yeah. I have two and they are very different personalities. Like, and from birth, totally different personalities. And so like, even for me as a expert in babies, like all I do is baby, I was still like, wow, this is like, I gotta learn you because you're a different person that is new and I gotta figure you out.
I used the line on my kid the other day. You didn't come with an instruction manual. I don't know. Like they just did ask me this question.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm figuring it out with you too. Like so.
Yeah. I tell that my oldest sometimes, like, I like, listen, bud, I've never been a mom to like a 7-year-old before. Like you're my first 7-year-old.
Yeah. I'm in the teenage years, so I'm really owning that one. So.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm not looking forward to that.
I hear boys are better. Girls, holy cow.
I've heard that. I'm really hoping that boys are better as teenagers.
I have the interesting intensity of 2 teenage girls and a 5-year-old boy. So they say those are like the intense stages at the same time.
Yeah.
Myself.
Oh my God.
So I feel like if I can just manage this time, it's going to feel real easy after this. But you know, I apologize
that's a lot.
all the time. I think that helps me let go of some of my mommy guilt. Or you know, if I slip something out, I'm a chain breaker in my family. I'm really breaking things like scarcity mindset or fixed mindset or different things like that. And, you know, I think communication is just so huge. And just understanding that your motherhood is your motherhood, your birth experience, your newborn, what is a priority to you, what your lifestyle is, if you're working or not. Like, don't think you get to, you're not going to get it wrong. Like with your love for your child, you're going to have this instinct to do the right thing for them. The mistake is when you go out and start comparing yourself to like the world we're in today, especially social media. I'm sorry, it's not real. What you are looking at is not real. So stop obsessing with things that are not realistic. That was set up. That was a photo shoot. It may have been a highlight. It may be a genuine, authentic highlight, but it's a highlight. And you're going to have those highlights too. But that's not every day. There are the days
and you also have the crashes at the bottom.
The blowout diaper. I've been up for 3 days and the kid won't stop crying. They spit that food up. I don't know if it's a food allergy. What happened? I mean, the beginning of the school year, I had kids that were sick for like 5 weeks. We went through COVID, diarrhea, throwing up, ear infection, like boom, 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 boom. And it was just like, by the end of that, I just had to be like, all right, we got through it. We built our immunity. I'm looking at being a teacher. We needed to do this. Okay, we should be good the rest of the year, you know? So
we did it already.
Right.
No, it is. And it is, you can't, the comparison is the thief of joy, right? You can't, because and I will tell this to patients, like, I'm going to give you information, but I'm not in your house at 3:00 in the morning. And so I don't know what the best decision is for you at that moment in time, right? Like maybe it is that you're doing, you know, pumping and bottle feeding overnight or doing formula overnight or bed sharing or whatever, right? Like all of these things might be the right thing for you and your family. And like my job is to help make it work and help make sure you're doing it safely.
Yeah.
But like, I can't make those decisions for you because it's not my family, right?
Right.
And if I'm saying that as like a person who works in this field for almost 10 years, like the person on Instagram who's like, I've had one baby and everything is amazing and you should do exactly what I've done. I'm like, that's nice for you. That worked for your baby, but like that's not a,
Wait
and
till you get
especially
to
to, oh my God, right? And especially if someone's trying to sell you something, like if there's a cost associated with it, and they're trying to tell you that they're going to fix all your problems without even having seen your baby or your family, like it's not, it's not going to happen.
Anyone's selling you something, period. I'm doing a personal training certification right now, and part of the section is on nutrition. And there's a lot of push for what is okay and not okay for like vitamins to help children sleep right now. And you go research the science on some of the things that are being sold versus what is actually out there. You'd be shocked how often it's just a fad or a trend. And it may or may not be hurtful. It's probably okay that they're getting some extra magnesium and these different things. It's not going to hurt them. But is it the solution? No, that's very individualistic for each child. Everything is going to be. So every baby is going to need something different. I've got one who's a Velcro baby. He's in the other room. Very much a Velcro baby. I've got another one that was like, Miss Independent, I got this. I'm going to go play. See you later, Mom. I mean, like,
I will get the cup out of the top shelf of the cupboard by myself. Thank you so much.
Yes, and I did get the stool over here and got up here without asking you.
So I'm just standing on the counter like, I didn't need your help.
Yeah, I have one like that out. Yep.
Yeah. I just want to circle back about, because you were mentioning some of the benefits of breastfeeding, and I do like some of the things. It's interesting because we also, and I think you're in the States, right? Yep. So there's a much more of like a pumping culture in the States because people have to go back to work so early. Like our typical mat leave here in Canada is 12 to 18 months. So we really don't have the like push to go back to work in the same way. But then you get like even the comparison between like pumping and breastfeeding, and like, that sometimes people feel guilty about that even as well. And then you add formula into the mix, and then that's like a whole other thing. But there's like a few really cool things about breast milk. Yes, you do get some feedback from the baby's mouth. So like the direct breastfeeding has an impact on like the microbiome of the milk. So like the probiotic content of the milk will change based on the baby's saliva because they backwash into your nipple, which is like such a cool thing. But even if you're not directly breastfeeding, a lot of the benefits and like changes in composition of the milk actually come more from like the environment than it does from like the direct skin to skin with your baby. So like if you're touching your baby with your hands, you're touching your environment, you're at home, you're touching things, the baby's touching those same things, and so you put things in your mouth, right? Like you eat, you put the baby, you kiss the baby, all that stuff. That's going to give your body information about like the germs in your environment. And then your breasts actually make specifically tailored antibodies to the germs that go into your mouth.
Build their immunity.
Their immunity. Yeah. And so one of the things that I'll often say is if you're like separated from your baby for a large part of the day, just as soon as you see them, if they've got like daycare germs all over them, like kiss them as much as you possibly can. Kiss their hands, kiss their face. If you have a toddler that's going to daycare and they're coming home from daycare, kiss their hands, kiss their face, and then let them wash their hands, because whatever they got, they're going to get sick anyways, right? Like they were eating someone else's snot at daycare. They're going to get sick.
Yeah, that happens.
If you get those germs into your mouth before your toddler has symptoms, your baby is getting immune factors specific to those germs before anyone even has symptoms in your house.
That's so funny. I love kissing my kids. That's so funny. That was just the instinct. Here you are. Come here.
Yeah. And no one has ever been like, oh, darn, I have to kiss my kids more.
Right.
Most of the time people people are like, oh, I'm so grateful I can like finally kiss my toddler. Like I was trying to isolate them from the baby. I'm like, no, you don't have to do that.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's people's misunderstanding of how germs work, like, and how you build
Yes.
immunity. If you live in a completely clean environment, you don't build immunity. I actually heard a very interesting story about a woman who had a husband die from some kind of infection, and she kind of had this weird psychosis afterward and was
Yes.
bleaching everything immaculately clean afterward, to the point that she actually messed up her sewer system because of so much bleach that was getting into the septic tank. And so it became this actually very unhealthy thing. So we do think that children need this like clean environment. I mean, yeah, you want things picked up on the floor. You probably want to sweep and back. But it's like almost more of a safety thing. Because think about it. There are babies that are born in the middle of the field in Africa, like, and we're worried about bleaching things. Like, I mean, each to their own, wherever you are in the world and the environment that you're in, your baby does need to adjust to that environment, just like you said. But I don't know if we think about it in the civilized world in the same way, realizing babies have been born in all sorts of circumstances and all sorts of environments all over the world for years, and they're doing great. So
thousands of years even. And I mean, you do have to be careful, right? And it does too depend on how the baby's being fed, right? So because breast milk has those immune benefits. If you have an exclusively formula fed baby, then they're not getting, because formula is sterile, it doesn't have the same immune benefits. So then you might not get those. However, one of the really cool things about breast milk is that as the concentration of your milk, as the amount of your milk goes down, the concentration of immune factors goes up. So you actually get very similar immune benefits in a fully breastfed baby and like a combo fed baby, even if they're not getting that much milk.
Even if you can get a little bit in there, that'll make a huge difference.
It's still going to have a huge benefit for their immune system. But you also have to look at like, what are we looking at here, right? Are we looking at like a common cold? Are we looking at RSV, which is like, can be very serious in babies. So like, it's a bit of a different story. Or are we looking at, like gastro bug? Because again, gastro bugs can be really serious in babies. So it's like different. It is a little bit more nuanced in like, when do you want to isolate your toddler? What's the, because it depends on like, what's the symptoms that you're having over here. And also like, how are you feeding your baby? How well protected are they? And you have to like keep those things in mind. But again, it's different for every family.
That's also why it's important to have a support system in place, like to have some family and friends that can help you go, that's normal, that's not normal, to have a pediatrician in place, have a doula, a postpartum midwife. Like those have all made a huge difference for me, because I really haven't had a mom who showed up after a birth and helped me out. And my sisters are younger than me. And so there wasn't like this village of people that came and helped me with any of my babies afterward. I really kind of had to create that myself. And that makes that really helps, because otherwise, all the pressure's on you to get it right or wrong. And sometimes it feels life or death. And that's where some moms get into postpartum depression, because of the massive changes that they've gone through. And they have these unrealistic fears that they're going to harm their baby, or their baby's going to get sick and die, or just things that's definitely a point. Things aren't normal, and you definitely need some help as well. And if you lose your milk during that time or whatnot, like, don't have guilt around it. Like, mental health and like the mom's well-being is very important. Your baby needs you, right? And then maybe your baby's not gaining enough weight, and maybe formula suggested or some pumping is suggested. Like, be open to just doing what may need to be best.
Right?
Involved. Like, mom doesn't have to sacrifice herself, because in this situation, if mom sacrifices herself, baby suffers. Like, it needs to be the both of them, not just one or the other. And so like, it would drive me nuts when people just like come visit and just focus on the baby and not be like, what do you need? Because they just want to play with the baby's toes and see the cute little baby and then leave. And I'm like, okay.
Could you do the dishes though? Could you do the dishes? And this is one of the things when I do, because as a lactation consultant, a lot of times people come to me and they're like, I really want to exclusively breastfeed. That's like my goal. I'm like, okay. So this is where we are right now. I'm going to give you a plan, but this plan is like a 1 week plan. And because then we can say like, you tried all the things. And if we haven't got to where you want to be in like 1 week, then we have to start moving from like trying all the things to like, what is sustainable? Because you have to do this for months and months, and your mental health matters a lot. And also you want to be able to like enjoy your newborn being a newborn and not just be like constantly like, oh my God, I have to pump. Oh my God, I have to do this. Oh my God, I have to do that. So like sometimes you just, it like what makes sense in this circumstance, and the mental health of the parents is a huge driving factor in like what actually makes sense. Because if you're suffering, like how are you going to take care of the baby?
Yep. And they grow so fast. It changes so fast. So it's important to enjoy the journey, whatever it is. It just goes by so fast. I mean, I got kids taller than me now, which is so weird.
Oh God.
So, you know, but
I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that.
I'm wondering about some things though, like does pumping bring in more milk? Does pineapple juice, like you said, the hydration, like what are some key things that might help a mom who's struggling to get her milk in or deal with an infection, or she wants to bring it back? Because I think there's a lot of misinformation about that. And so I'm just curious if you can talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times I like, it's, again, it depends. So really, you know, if you're struggling with it, I would say like you want to make sure that you're reaching out to a professional so that you get an idea. Because, you know, for example, someone who's had gestational diabetes, that's a different situation than someone who's had a C-section, or if you've had both, or what have you. Like different things are going to come into play differently. In general though, like the more you stimulate your breasts, the more milk you're going to make. Like the more milk you remove, the more milk you make, kind of as a general rule of thumb. So yes, the pumping can definitely help. But if the latching isn't, and this is why I say like it depends, and work with somebody, because if you're latching your baby and the latch is amazing, then maybe you want to focus on latching more, because you do get that like oxytocin skin to skin piece. On the flip side, if you're latching your baby and there's something going on, maybe your baby has a tongue tie, maybe there's like tension in the baby's body and the latch is terrible, then you could be spending 12 hours breastfeeding and your baby's still going to want to top up because they've basically removed no milk, and then your supply is going to go down. And so then maybe actually you want to like move to pumping while you're addressing what's going on in the baby's mouth or in their body or what have you. So looking at like it's not and this is part of the reason why I love what I do, because it's always like there's something going on in this part and there's something going on in that part. And I feel like because I have the like naturopathic hat and the lactation consulting hat, like I'm doing a full intake on the mom and even the dad sometimes too, like we're like all the parents involved, like what's going on here, family dynamic, and also doing like a really thorough assessment of the baby as well as like the actual latching itself, because it's a very complicated puzzle, and like there's not always like a quick fix answer.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Yes, I did nurse 3 of them for 2 years. But it was different with each one. Each one had kind of different challenges, or one latched really well, or one got teeth and it was just like time to cut them off.
Yeah.
You know? And another one who, like, I don't know, just because he's a little boy, is still kind of obsessed with that as a comfort. Like, you know, so like having to teach you don't get that anymore, and getting the hand out of my shirt was the funniest thing for like a year after nursing.
Yeah, like why is your hand down my shirt? What's happening here?
Yeah, like so we've moved actually to him putting his hand on my neck sometimes for comfort, because what he's looking for is the heartbeat. He wants to feel my heartbeat, which has been kind of interesting, because it was like, okay, what does my child need? Why is this the comfort?
Why is this happening? Yeah.
You know, I mean, I might be in my child's comfort, but at the same time, you got to be appropriate in public. So.
Mine was my bra strap for a long time. He like to like fiddle with my bra strap, and if he's sick, he still is like.
Yeah. So mine looks like he's choking me because he's like, "Where's that hurt?" But no. But I'm enjoying it. I'm like, okay, this is his unique thing.
It's working.
You know, because it's not going to last. Someday he's gonna be a big boy. Mom, don't touch me. Don't kiss me. Like, so,
oh yeah. Don't kiss me in front of my friends. God.
Yeah. Not that we want to like project into the future, but like it's another part of just enjoy the journey. Honor the struggle. You're gonna be a better parent. It helps you have empathy for other parents. I mean, I feel like unless you've struggled with lactation, unless you've been through some of these things, like you just don't have the level of understanding until you're in it or you've experienced it yourself. And so have some compassion for someone else, and what you share, what you give as advice, what you think is a good mom and what's not a good mom and what's expected. Like, can we not do that to each other's moms, please? Especially not here on my podcast.
Everyone is doing the best that they possibly can. Like, unless I'm always like, is there Coca-Cola in your baby's bottle? Because if that's not where we're at, like, you're doing a great job here.
Right. Yeah. That's not good. No, that would be really not good.
But like, even, you know, like, people are, even if you are like formula feeding, you're still, it's like, is my baby tolerating it well? Like, what do I, you know, like, am I giving them a right amount? Like, or what's the, like, do I need to move to like a more gentle or like hydrolyzed or whatever? Like, it's not, you're not like not making the best decision for your baby, right? Like, in all cases, you're trying to make the best decision for the baby that you have right in front of you. And that looks different for, like, you know, one baby versus a different baby in the same family, right?
Well, even after, I have one that went right to cow's milk just fine. I have another one that had to go to lactose free. It just doesn't work. And then my last one, he loves goat's milk. So like, even after what they transitioned to, even though they were both nursing, was completely different. And so you just enjoy the flavor and variety of your children.
Yes, because they come with flavors and varieties. Yes. You know, it also matters like what is feasible for you, right? In your family and what you have the like capacity for in the moment, right? Like, if you're also dealing with postpartum depression, like, that takes priority. Priority.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What is the most common thing that you deal with in the work that you do with moms and babies?
Yeah, so the two most common things that I deal with are pain and perceived low supply. Yeah.
What is perceived low supply for someone who may not know what we're talking about?
Yeah, okay, so it's not, sometimes it is truly low supply, and sometimes it's just that people don't think that they're making enough. And so, and especially if you're like mostly just topping, you know, like doing the breast and you're not doing top ups or what have you, like, you don't know the volume that's coming out. And because nursing patterns for babies can be very different from like one baby to the next. One of the really interesting things that I try to, like, especially if I'm doing a prenatal lactation consult, I'm like, this is important information for you to know. You hear like your baby should be feeding like every 2 to 3 hours. That's like what they tell you when you walk out of the hospital, feed this baby every 2 to 3 hours. But that comes from, they just looked at like a big sample of a lot of healthy breastfed babies, and they took the average, and the average was 8 to 12 times a day. But the range of normal was 6 to 16 times a day. In those healthy, in all of those healthy, so it's 6 times a day, baby.
Setting, what they can tolerate, and what size they were when they were born, all sorts of things.
Yes, and like, if you've previously breastfed, that makes a big difference on your supply as well. So like, you have one that's, you know, if you have a third time parent who is making an absolute ton of milk because they breastfed right into their next pregnancy, and that baby's only nursing 6 times a day, and they're like chug, 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 and then pass out. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right?
It's funny you say that, because the one I got pregnant while I was nursing, and then the next was like such a chunk. Like, so.
Yeah. Just milk everywhere. But like 16 times a day is also normal, and it is also normal for them to like not nurse every 2 to 3 hours. Like, sometimes they might nurse every hour, and sometimes they might go 4 hours. And so if you have this baby who's giving you all the hunger cues, and you're like, but it's only been 1 hour and 45 minutes and I must wait until the 2-hour mark, like, that's gonna suck for everybody in the house, right?
For my sanity, that's why I co-slept. Like, I don't think I did it as much with all of my children, but the last 2 I really got comfortable with it by finding ways for it to be safe, but just so I could get the sleep I needed, because it was very easy for them to latch on and then fall back asleep, and I could just move them into their little bassinet or their little pillow that kept them from rolling and whatnot and not being rolled on. And that worked so well. And it just like helped me a lot to get more rest in general.
More sleep.
But and so I think people are scared because they hear the horror stories of SIDS or a child being like rolled on. And I know someone that happened to, and it was really tragic, but like the mom, from my understanding, and I might be wrong, but in that case in particular, the mom wasn't really being taken care of very well. And so she had fallen into a really deep sleep. And so it's really important to have some support and partners around you if you're going to do anything like that, just to make sure it's not all on you and not all on the mom, so that you're not completely exhausted. And I say that too, having been solo mom now for like quite a while and having to do a solo pregnancy and birth and postpartum, that I'm still looking back and going, how did I do that? But I did, you know, and I knew at that point,
do, right? You just do.
Yeah. And I was an experienced mom. So I think that helped some, that I kind of knew what worked, and I knew some of these things. Like, I feel really bad for like a new mom that's doing it completely on her own. Cause I feel like then the pro is you don't know what it's like to have had the partner there and like what it could be as more of a family union. And so this is just your normal, but on the other side of it, you don't know what works for you yet. And you haven't been through it before. And so it's all new. And so it will take a little more time, and you'll need more support, period.
And you need more support from elsewhere, right? Like, you can't, if you don't have the partner, then you gotta be finding some support from friends and family and other things, right? But the bed sharing is something that I get asked about all the time. People are like, I'm like, okay, what's the sleep situation? Like, what's happening with overnight feeds? And people are like, well, I like bed sharing. And I'm like, it's okay. I'm not gonna make you feel guilty about that. Like, it's totally fine. But I do have a lot of conversations about like, how are we going to do this in a way that's safe? James McKenna has some really great resources online about safe bed sharing, what makes it safe, how to do it in the bed setup that you should use, like when you shouldn't do it. And one of the times is like, if you're so exhausted that you're not going to be able to rouse, or if you've had any like alcohol, melatonin, like that kind of sleep aids, that kind of stuff. And even just like how to do it. So if you have a partner in the bed, if they're, that partner has to be like away from the baby, because you have, as the person who gave birth, you have changes in your brain that make you like generally more responsive to a baby. But
your child.
But partners don't have that. So, they can't bed share in the same way. So, but yeah, it is, you have to like,
well, and what I found was
it's a risk benefit, right?
Like the pillow kind of cocoon thing in the bed in the middle. And then I would also have a bassinet on the side. So I could tell when I was really, really tired, they needed to go in the bassinet. So I just knew that they were right there. They were safe.
Yeah.
And
a little bit of a separate surface.
And then that would gradually build into the crib being right there. And then the crib would eventually move away, and then we transitioned
to another room. Yeah.
It was more like nap. It was the middle of the day. I knew we were going to be okay with me being able to rouse. I could do this one right here, which was just easier in some cases.
Yeah. Generally, I don't recommend the cushions, just because if they start to roll, then they can get, because it's softer.
Well, the minute they rolled, that was gone.
Then you're done, right? Then you're done. But if you have them even just like a flat surface beside you, that's like away from your pillow and your blankets and stuff, like that's usually the safest. Is just like a flat surface.
I always find them.
This is like something around it. Yeah. It's just because you also have to parent children during the day, right? Like, especially if it's your second or third or fourth, like you still have to get up and parent those kids. And so your sleep is really important, and your sleep is really important even if you just have one kid. Like, you still have to. And if you're like struggling to get up and settle in and whatever, and bed sharing is getting everybody more sleep and making everybody like more actual people, then that's fine, right? And so like, my job is not to tell you not to do it. Like I said, I'm not in your house at 3:00 in the morning. My job is to give you information about how to do it more safely, and certainly not to make you feel more guilty or like that your children are not going to sleep independently if you sleep with them when they're younger, right? Like, which is something that people hear all the time.
So you're mentioning you don't recommend the pillow mainly as like a daytime, I'm going to walk away, I have other kids to deal with, so a bassinet by the bed is better. Like, could you go into some of that? Because I think that gets really weird and confusing too, because there are people that put stuff out on the market on Amazon that may not actually be okay, and I don't think people know what to think with sometimes.
So in general, the safest thing is a flat surface. So like a bassinet, or if you have like a firm mattress, you can put them, you know, if you're walking away like in the middle of a firm mattress, that's going to be with nothing around them, no like pillows, blankets, whatever. Those like snuggle pillows that where they're a bit more confined, those are not meant for unsupervised sleep. So like if they are in there while they're awake, or if you're like, you know, doing something in the kitchen and you're watching them, like that's okay, but it's not meant for like, I'm going to walk away from you kind of situations. Because anything that has softness, as soon as they can like move around a little bit more, the concern is that if they roll and they're like half asleep when they're rolling, if their face gets caught into it, if it's squishy, they might not have the strength to move themselves away from it to properly breathe. So it's really, you want things to be like firm and flat for unsupervised sleep. And it's obviously like, if they fall asleep in the car seat while you're driving, like, what are you going to do, right? Like, they fall asleep in the stroller while you're walking, again, what are you going to do? Like, you just want to make sure that they're, as per the instructions on the stroller or the car seat, like make sure they're in there, buckled in there the way that they're supposed to be buckled. And then if you're putting them in those like more cozy things, bouncers, etc., like those are not meant for unsupervised sleep.
Yeah, that's a really good key point. Like I would say they were always supervised with these things that I did. I didn't walk away in a lot of cases unless it was a crib. It was a bassinet that I knew like had all of those requirements kind of thing. Yeah. And I think that was just instinctively, I knew that, but I really thought it was important that you clarify that, because I think I can co-sleep. What does that look like? Versus I'm not doing it because I don't know if it's safe. What's safe? What's not safe? So I think some of it's just getting clarity on people who are doing it correctly and safely versus not, because there's a lot of stigma, misconceptions, there's horrible news, there's things that happen. I mean, you could be doing it all right and a child dies for some other reason. I mean, little ones do just die from, unfortunately, things that get missed.
Yes, things that get missed. I mean, smoking in the house is actually like the biggest killer of babies. So the fact that most people don't do that anymore is a really, really good thing, right? So James McKenna, if you Google him, he has a website that he's got this like really beautiful diagram of like, this is, if you're going to bed share, this is how to do it the most safely. So that's usually the resource that I'll give to clients, is just because it's just like like, this is how you do it. There's a picture.
Well, my little one's like, Mom, you need to be done over here. So if you want to ask Dr. Sarah some more questions, like obviously lots of experience, lots of heart, very knowledgeable. And I do realize here in the States, we do not have nearly the maternity leave that we should. I really advocate
it breaks my heart.
It's a crime to our
It is a crime. It is a crime. It breaks my heart, honestly.
But that doesn't mean you can't make the most out of whatever time or leave that you do have. And you can still empower yourself and give yourself the knowledge that you can to do what you can do to get those benefits to your child the best way that you can, whatever that looks like for your child. It's your family. It's your unique journey. You get to decide what kind of resilient mother you want to be for your unique situation. And we're here to help you do that. Some tools, tips, strategies, so you can master your own unique resilience and raise the next resilient generation. Dr. Sarah, if we want to find you, where can we find you?
Yep. So you can find me on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and TikTok. It's at Downtown Doula, TO, or at yourdowntowndoula.com.
Wonderful. Well, now you know where to go if you want to continue the conversation. Thank you for joining us today. Please don't forget to subscribe so we can share this message. We are a worldwide podcast with guests all around the world, and we want to continue to grow this community. You can find us on socials. You could also be a guest. Look for that link below if you'd be interested in being a guest on the podcast. If you know a sponsor or would like to be a sponsor, please reach out to me or Catherine as well.
sure we want you all on this journey. We want to hear your stories. We want to share your stories. We want to gain strength from each other because together we're stronger. And to never forget the blessing of being a mother and what we're creating. We're creating the future every single day of our lives. So get on this train with us and let's do this thing, moms.
I believe in you. Believe in yourself. God bless. And we'll see you around. Take care.